Fourth loss in 5 games for the Phoenix Suns. They lose at the Pelicans. First game of 2 against the Pelicans, both in New Orleans. They lose by a final score of 128-117. And Matthew, all is not right in Suns land, my friend. All is not right in Suns land.
No, it's Bummerland right now, for sure. Like these Suns are going through a weird time. Everyone kind of seems like they are in a different dimension. They think, Chris Paul comes back, everything be okay. It doesn't look okay. Chris Paul looks good. Nothing else looks right, though. Everything is just fucking fishy right now, dude.
All those little things aren't working out for the Phoenix Suns. All the loose balls don't go their way. Every whistle, it's going to be on the Suns. And it's been like this for about a week now. And it's really interesting because, we're going to really see what the Phoenix Suns are made of. And I was hoping we were going to see what the Phoenix Suns were made of tonight as they went up against the New Orleans Pelicans, hoping that there would be some semblance of a fight. And in the fourth quarter, there was, because the team was nuclear from beyond the arc. But outside of that, this entire game, you're watching it and you're going, the Pelicans are easily a better team than us. And I think we can both say that.
Yeah, absolutely. If this was a series, it'd be over in 5 or 6 games. Pelicans way. They look good. The Pelicans do. We knew it was going to be a tough game. And honestly, I thought it was over by the third quarter when they went up 14. I was like, This game's over. There's no way. But Chris Paul was miraculous. Lee actually was hitting some threes. They let him shoot this game. Unlike last game, I feel like he wasn't really involved. So we got back in it, man, but they couldn't figure it out. The chemistry defensively was nasty. I mean, I know Zion's good, but come on. You got to figure something out when Alvarado's trying to screen your ass. Like, what the fuck are you doing, dude?
I'm okay with that 8-1, I mean, at that point, every whistle was going against the Phoenix Suns, and there was one play where Alvarado sent a screen, Zion dunked, and some people on Twitter were saying just that. They're like, well, why is DA not fighting through that? Why would you at that point? Every time, I mean, there's that one play where DA's down on the block. He's got Alvarado on him, and Alvarado just falls down. It looked like he'd been shot.
Yeah.
They didn't call a foul on that one, but that's how he plays the game, is he flops in every way, shape, or form. And it's really tough. In 1 week's time, we're going to get Luka Doncic and 2 games of Alvarado. Like, it's frustrating to watch that kind of basketball. So on that particular play, I wasn't frustrated with the effort of DeAndre Ayton. But we're going to talk about that
we will.
and much more on this edition of the Suns Jam Session podcast, brought to you by the Basketball Podcast Network. Thank you for hanging out with us. We truly appreciate it. If you're watching along live on YouTube, of course, hit that thumbs up. If you're listening, please subscribe, rate, review. Give us one of those 5-star reviews on whatever platform you are listening to this content on. But it's time to talk about this game. Time to break it down in every way we can. Matthew, what are you drinking tonight?
Some water, man. I'm so sorry. You know what, Jamsters? I do apologize. I will go to the Circle K and grab a 6-pack sometime.
When's the last time you had a beer on this podcast?
I don't know. I think it was probably when we were in the finals 2 years ago.
Bullshit. Before this season began, you're like, I'm going to have a beer. I'm committed to you, Jamsters. I'm going to drink a beer every single game. And after you went through a 6-pack, it was like, I'm just going to drink some water. We need to be drinking right now, man. The Suns suck.
I should be.
You need a bottle of red wine.
Them one after another. Even wine, something. Some CBD drinks, something.
Just a bottle of red wine.
All right.
Just be real with it. I'm going to pop open. It's a pint, I think, of it's called Alvarado Floppers. I don't know what that means.
Dr. Alvarado Floppers.
Dr. Alvarado Floppers. So pop them if you got them, Suns fans. We need a drink after this one.
Yes.
Let's talk about everything that happened again between the Suns and the Pelicans on this Friday evening. I think the best place to start with this podcast, there's like 10 different ways I've been trying to think, how do I want to talk about this Suns versus the Pelicans game, which is pretty impressive to think of 10 different ways, considering we're going live directly after the game. I sat around while I was watching this game, different phases, different things about both teams that I've noticed, but I'll bring up this question to start.
Matthew, I got to ask.
Matthew, seeing as you are a basketball savant, a basketball expert, if you will, and somebody who is an expert shooter of the basketball, what's wrong with Devin Booker, man?
Well, I thought after last game, I thought there was an injury. I thought he really did tweak his ankle. I think it was the game before last, right? Or was it in the third quarter of last game? It was early, I think,
2
last
games
game.
ago. It was against the Mavs when he tweaked that ankle.
Yeah. So I thought it was that. But the way he looks on the court right now is like something else is on his mind. He looks like he's not obviously the chemistry with him and the offense is not there. A lot of what he's trying to do out there right now is trying to get himself back in the game. So I'm not saying he's playing selfish basketball, but the way he's actually trying to get his shot to go down, knowing that it's not going down right now. We're playing a Pelicans team. We need to bounce back. We need a big victory. And he's trying to get a shot off when he's kind of just missing Ayton. Ayton's there, not giving him the ball. It's a little bit selfish. And you can see out there, is it a pity party? Something's up with him. He might be injured. It's always like an injury. It's always something that we never know about. But right now, he looks like he is just not thinking about the game. He's thinking about other things back home. He's thinking about whatever. I'm not saying but the breakup or whatever, but there's something on his mind. He does not look the same. And I've seen him go through slumps before. Not like this. This is something different. Just like the way he was playing before the slump. Never seen that kind of book. He was playing.
Sorry, I didn't. I thought you were pausing.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Big Dick Booker.
How rude of me. Continue.
No, it's okay. No, it's fine, man. I need slap me in the face a little bit, wake me up a little bit. There you go. Dude, I think that there's something else on his mind, but for him to actually kind of be selfish tonight in a way to try to get a shot off, I thought a few times, other than finding teammates, I didn't like that. I didn't want to see that because what he was trying to do was kind of take the Suns out of the game. Chris Paul is the only one that can get him back into the game. Booker trying to find a shot is something I'm always looking for. But right now, man, we just got to get a victory. This team chemistry is really bad. Everybody knows how bad the Suns are playing right now. And everybody else was doing a decent job offensively. Give them a shot. It wasn't your night again tonight. So take the night off, but he didn't. He tried to force too much, I feel like, tonight.
I think that's a good way to put it. He forced too much. And I was thinking about this, as a lot of Suns fans were during this game. Is this something injury-based? As you mentioned, tweaked the ankle a couple games ago. Looked like it was a pretty bad tweak, but he's a young guy. He's in shape. He takes care of his body. And he played through it. And then you see the last game, but that doesn't negate how cold he was in the first quarter against the Mavericks. And then you look at last game, and he was just horrible. And you look at this game, and the final stat line for Devin Booker tonight, again, going into New Orleans and having a very, very rough first half. I think he was 2 of 10 in the first half, but he ends with a total of 14 points on 5 of 17 shooting. 17 shots turned 14 points. He was 2 of 8 from beyond the arc. He had the 7 assists. He had the 2 rebounds. He had 3 turnovers. That's what got my eye, was the turnovers. There was that one play late in the game where he threw that interception like he was Kirk Cousins over the middle, and then boom, Zion Williamson grabs it, runs down, dunks it. And if you watch on that play, it looked like he was favoring something. But that being said, if your ankle hurts, that doesn't take away your ability to see the floor. And that's what we saw tonight. We saw, as you mentioned, little ball hogness, some forced passes, some bad passes, some turnovers, some instances where it almost seemed like he was freezing DeAndre Ayton out in an effort to try to get himself going. Something's going on there, and I don't know what exactly it is. If people want to go, hey, he's injured, D-Book's injured, again, that's fine, but he's mentally injured right now because DeAndre Ayton had plenty of opportunities in this game. And the Suns, and Devin Booker primarily, and Chris Paul too, they weren't getting him the ball. I mean, there was like 3 times where they did exactly what they wanted. They switched, got Alvarado on Ayton, and they just passed it around the perimeter, away from DA. And DA's like, so he's trying to present himself on the other side, and they pass it back around. And it's like, I felt bad for the guy.
Yeah.
And it was Devin Booker primarily who just wasn't executing this offense. So something's going on right now. Something's going on with D-Book, man. And you could say the Kendall thing and He broke up. Dude, he went out and dropped like 51. He had 44. He had 40 twice
Yeah.
and 51. And that was after the breakup, quote unquote. So it's like, you can't sit there and say all of a sudden he's just like, and maybe he is. I don't know. Maybe it's like a week later. He's like, yeah, I don't need that girl. And then like a week later, he's like, but I do. And I'm sad. I don't know.
But it is sad though. Even watching him try to like get through defenders on the pick and roll, like he's having a hard time keeping the dribble alive. These defenders are getting at him. There's something there watching him that he's been doing the past few games where there's just something that the coaches are telling the defenders like, hey, look at this next time. Because I feel like every time he has a pick and roll or something and he tries to like move it through a screen or something, the guys are getting it. The guys are like poking it away. He's turning the ball over. Like those passes are bad too. But he's playing like he's in a different dimension right now where as bad as it looks like he's like that guy that we did draft, but he's just a bust, right? He's like he's like his teammates from the second year that are just not in the league anymore. That's how bad he's looking out there. And of course, there's no knock on Book and the respect we have for him, but his game is just so bad right now where we're losing like tonight's game. We would have won if we would have had a decent Book game, but we had a terrible Book game. So that's what cost us really in the end. We can talk about Ayton and everybody else, but if we just have a good Book game, an efficient game, not saying go score 40, just don't turn the ball over, make a few shots more here or there, we would have won this game, I feel like.
Yeah, it's almost like we have alternate universe Devin Booker, right? The multiverse Booker is out there, and all of a sudden, it's like he popped through, and he's just like, hi, I'm the guy who got drafted 13th overall and never made it, but somehow here I am, and you're going to give me the ball, and you want me to shoot a bunch? Okay, and brick. So again, it's alternate universe Booker. We're not seeing any efficiency from him in any way, shape, or form. He's not passing the ball efficiently. And this is 3 consecutive games. And what worries me more than anything is these are against quality competition. These are teams that when you go to the playoffs, you're going to run into one of these teams. So this is an opportunity to try to impose your will, show everybody how good you are. It's like once all that MVP thing, all the MVP talk started, he hasn't played well since. He got player of the month. He's like, cool. And he just sucked.
Isn't that crazy?
It's insane.
Player of the month. It's like, what an award to win. And then you're complete dumpster fire and he'll get out of it. Of course, it always evens out, but this is something different. Especially with the rest of the team. Everything just looks really fucked right now. It
does. It's not just him. It's kind of everybody. Luke Carter in the chat, Doppelganger Devin, Brunus 92, Barkley in Space Jam. It's like, the Monstars took his powers or something. And you're right. Booker will snap out of this, but at what point? Because right now, with this loss, the Phoenix Suns are now the 3rd best team in the Western Conference. They are a half game better than the Denver Nuggets right now. They're 1 ahead of them in the win column, right? They're a game better than the 5th overall Sacramento Kings. And they're a game and a half better than the Utah Jazz. And the Dallas Mavericks are 7th, and they're charging up the standings. So you fall into that 7 zone, you fall into that play-in zone. And I know that we're a quarter of the way through the season. The Suns have played 26 of their 82 games, right? If you're a math whiz and you're sitting there and you're doing that in your head, that puts the Suns at 31.7% of the way through the season. But we're almost a third of the way through. Yeah, we're the 3rd seed, but we're trending downwards right now. People aren't buying stock right now in the Phoenix Suns, and they're not buying stock in the way that Devin Booker's playing. And I guarantee he's fallen off of a lot of those first team and second team ballots. I'll tell you who I felt had a good game, and I'd be interested to see how you feel was DeAndre Ayton, man.
Watch.
25 and 14 for DeAndre Ayton. He was 11 of 15 from the field. He also had a steal, a block, a couple assists as well. I thought DeAndre Ayton played absolutely fantastic in this game. Again, you go on Twitter and everyone's frustrated that he didn't fight through an Alvarado screen after they blown 37 on the Phoenix Suns. And if you look in the second half, I mean, the way that they were calling that second half, and don't get me wrong, like the New Orleans Pelicans, they forced the issue in this game. That's for sure. But there was also a lot of ticky-tacky fouls in there. And if you look at the second half alone, the New Orleans Pelicans were 21 of 27 from the free throw line. The Suns were 2 of 4. And that's because they forced the issue. So, like, I'm not going to get pissed off at DeAndre Ayton for not fighting through an Alvarado screen. He was doing everything else that he could. He can't pass the ball. I'll talk about Torrey Craig in a minute, but never throw another fucking entry pass, Torrey Craig, because you fucking suck at it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the Alvarado thing, I only understand it because I was frustrated. I was frustrated because what happened after him and Craig were talking, it seemed like Craig in the fourth quarter was kind of ignoring Ayton. Ayton was trying to tell him things and he was just walking around him, dude. Did you see that?
Yeah.
That was something that was happening. So Craig was kind of probably annoyed because Ayton, every time he would get beat, he's like, where's everybody at? Where's everybody at?
Yeah.
So my only thing is like, it's like, all right, Ayton, this is Zion. All right, what do you guys want us to do? That fucking race car. Did you hear that?
Yeah, why is there always race cars outside of your... I know that if you're watching on YouTube, you probably don't hear, but like when you got headphones in,
yeah,
you know, like I hear everything that goes on in the background for Matthew, and it always sounds like it's
like picks up
Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift outside of his apartment complex.
All right, so you got to fight through that. You got to fight through it a little bit. It's not saying you have to run him over, but make an effort. So Ayton, really a good game tonight. I feel like he wasn't fed a course in the third quarter at all. He didn't get any touches. He finished, 14-6 at halftime. Am I right? Here we go. Good game, man. It's it's a 3-point lead by the Pelicans, but right now the Suns are out rebounding them 26-23, which is good. Ayton's holding it down. Third quarter was okay, but he just never got the ball. Booker was trying to work himself into the game so much that he was not feeding DA. DA was kind of just like there, and he wasn't getting the ball. Like we talk about this all the time. And then there was times where DA was in bad positioning asking for the ball. It's like, you're way too low again. There's no good angles there. You can't get the ball. They were forcing it to him. And then EJ always says, like, you got to find a way to give him the ball. It's like, yeah, I understand that, but DA needs to make himself more available. So what DA did tonight was great, but it didn't follow through the whole game. So this is like the next step. This is what I'm looking for from Ayton, is at the end of the third, when the Suns are they're down and out, they're losing big, he does hang his head a little bit. He doesn't try as hard, all right? Until Chris Paul gets him back into the game, and it's a 3 or 4 point game, then DA comes back into the game after a course of rest. Maybe he was tired. He comes back, he feels better. And then all of a sudden, when they start losing again, he starts pointing at things. He starts going like, I don't know what's going on defensive. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? You don't know what's going on? Like, obviously there's mishaps here or there, but I'm telling you, man, there's just parts of the game where if he fills that void where we need that energy, where he needs to pick himself up, then we win these kinds of games where he can match a guy like Zion. He can be that guy that can, not saying he can be Zion, but he can match the energy. Because we need that. You can't just rely on the teammates to get you back in the game and then, okay, now we're back in. Now I can play. And I'm not ragging on him the whole game. He did really good. It's just when the Suns were losing, he's like, oh, here we go again. They're making threes. Some teammates aren't rotating. I'm not rotating. I'm not actually going after the perimeter to defend as well. Like, that's what was happening tonight, man. So that's what frustrates me, is that if we have that extra ounce, we probably make this a better game in the end. Maybe it goes to overtime or something crazy. Just DA can't rely on his teammates too much for their energy and for them to get him back in the game. He has to go do it himself. He has to fucking make a difference like a Zion does out there.
See, this is where I'll go against that, because I think that no player in the NBA is on every single play. No one. And I think with DA, as Suns fans, when we see plays where he's not on, which can be 10% of the time, which can be 25% of the time, which can be 75% of the time, it's under a magnifying glass for us because we notice it. And tonight, I felt like he was on probably about 80 to 90% of all of the different plays. I feel like he was doing everything he can to make himself available. You know, like Hey.0 says in the chat, says DA needs to make himself available at all times. I think he tried, not every play is going to be run specifically for him, especially in a guard-centric offense. But I think he was doing a fantastic job of trying to make himself available. And it's like the Suns, they'd set a pick and roll. He would roll, and they'd realize late that they need to pass it to him. And by that time, the defender had recovered. And it happened multiple times, especially with CP and a few times with Book, where they weren't looking to pass right away. And like Cameron Payne, they had that one play out of the timeout where Cameron Payne did that. And then there was one play, because they had done it so few times through the first 3 quarters, in the third quarter, Chris Paul threw a turnover because he threw it too far. He threw it too far over him, and DA had stopped rolling on that play. And I remember that play specifically because I'm like, people are going to be like, DA didn't give effort on that play. It's like, no, DA's tired of giving effort and no one rewarding him for his effort. So on a play, like, I'm I'm gonna slow it up because I know CP is gonna throw it. So I'm gonna put myself in rebounding position because if I don't, I'm gonna run myself out of bounds. So that's my problem. Like I feel like he's given the appropriate amount of effort. Again, knowing that no one gives effort 100% on every play. No one does. Jose Alvarado maybe, because it takes a lot of effort to flop around like a fish, like a fish coming out of a pelican's mouth. But I think that DA in this game was the most consistent, was the most solid, did everything he could, given the fact that this is a very, very tough team to rebound against, and he wasn't getting very much help on the rebounding end. Torrey Craig, who's supposed to, he's unfortunately for the poor guy, but he's going to be taking on that 4 role until we can get someone better in there. He ends with 5 rebounds. Mikal Bridges has 5 rebounds. Chris Paul ends up with 8, but 14 from DeAndre Ayton of our 37. I mean, he was doing everything he can. He was just overmatched with Valanciunas, with Zion Williamson, who we'll talk about, with Larry Nance crashing the boards on every play. I mean, he just I can't put anything in any way, shape, or form question his effort, his ability. I questioned the teammates around him tonight. I feel like they were trying to get themselves going and not feeding the big fella. And feeding the big fella, that's what the Pelicans did. Like, Zion, you just go off. Because Zion can take the ball from the perimeter and just go at anybody and do whatever he wants. Yeah, you got to give him the ball. Torrey Craig's interior passes were fucking dog shit tonight. In fact, he gets his drop, but he gets his old. He gets the shitty version.
Well, could I say some more about Ayton?
Yes, you can.
Okay, here's the thing: is like anytime I'm talking about the things I see it there and I get frustrated, it's like, oh, leave him alone. But it's like, it's not that. It's not like I was like, DA was shit tonight. Okay, there are just things I see where I'm frustrated myself. I'm like, those are things he can improve on. There's nothing wrong with that. Even if you're watching the broadcast, EJ's talking about there's 2 possessions where he goes up strong in a row, 2 offensive rebounds, and he gets a foul. And EJ's saying, it's like, if he keeps doing that, the good things will happen. But how many times do we say that? So we say that all the time, right? So that's just me. That's what everyone's just saying is like, those things need to continue to happen. That's what I'm saying. This isn't about DA didn't get the ball enough, all this bullshit, all that. I'm just saying when he does have the chance, he needs to make the most of it. And when he does, like that time he goes up strong and gets a foul, which he never does, then people see like, okay, if you do this, that's all you need to do, man. And he had this little stop pop floater that was perfect right before the rim. It was the best shot I've ever seen him shoot. So those 2 things, man, if he has those, he's unstoppable down there. So just things that I just noticed, man. It's nothing like he cost us a game or anything like that.
No,
man. These are just things I like to talk about.
I get it.
And he's our guy right now.
It's called Ayton Watch.
I watch.
You were watching Ayton, so that's what happened.
Yes.
But I'll tell you this, Torrey Craig.
Craig, I wouldn't feel comfortable lending you $200 without a job.
Man, his passes to Ayton were pissing me off all night. He ends with 3 turnovers. Every Phoenix Suns had 3 turnovers minus Mikal Bridges, who only had 1, but he had 5 personal fouls. Torrey Craig I don't know what it is with him and Ayton, but he cannot pass him the ball. He looked bad tonight. Ends up going 4 of 7 from beyond the arc, mind you. Was clutch in that 4th quarter, in which the Phoenix Suns outscored the New Orleans Pelicans 35-33. But I don't want to spend much time on Craig. He doesn't deserve the time tonight.
What? I thought he hit some threes tonight, but everyone was kind of going off tonight, dude. I thought he looked good. I know those passes suck, but that's always the thing is like, how does anybody give DA the ball? Like, no one can fucking give him the ball. Like,
why can no one give him the ball?
They have to be 7 feet tall. And especially when Craig's covered by Zion, it's impossible to pass the ball. Zion's just like, he's like at the volleyball net, ready to bat it down every time he throws it up to him. So it's impossible. But dude, I thought he had like the 2 assists early that were nice. Like, he seemed like he was moving the ball around the cylinder pretty well with the offense. So it wasn't bad. I like when him and Okogie are playing together. I love Craig right now. When it's weird watching the 4th quarter and like you have DA and Craig talking, and then he's ignoring them defensively, kind of not talking to him, then you want to know what the fuck they're talking about. Like, that would be so interesting just to know, like, what are you guys going back and forth with? And then also like
some Hard Knocks, right?
Yeah.
So Phoenix Suns Hard Knocks, because don't watch the Cardinals Hard Knocks, man. That
nothing happens, depressing. Right?
It shows the highlights of the game, and I just get pissed. I start watching, I'm like, oh, this is the one we lost to Seattle. We're gonna lose it. Oh, we're gonna get destroyed by the Niners. It's not fun. It's not. I started watching. It's not fun.
Hey, have Julius Randle try to throw some pass. He can pass pretty good.
Oh God, get out
at
of
the
here!
4.
Get out of here with the Randle talk.
The point guard.
The bright side of the evening for the Phoenix Suns was Chris Paul. 24 points, 7 of 14 from the field, 6 of 9 from beyond the arc. He also had 8 rebounds, 7 assists, did have 3 turnovers. But Chris Paul, it was nice to see him back and playing and realizing Book ain't got it. I've got to be that offensive presence, and how he could provide an offensive presence.
Yeah. Sorry, dude. I didn't know you were stopping right there. I thought you were just doing a little burp.
I did do a little burp, but I muted myself.
Yeah, this is actually like his like real welcome back game.
Yes.
They left him open from 3, so he just had to make sure that they paid for it, and they did. He was the only reason we had a chance in this game, man. That was it. Him and those threes, he was unstoppable. The assists, of course, really weren't really there, but I think when he has a shot down like that, you can't really tell him no. He just has to keep shooting it. And like someone was asking too, what he was telling the referee before.
Halftime.
Yeah. You know, he's having a talk with him, and the ref's like, okay. Like, what do you even tell the ref right there? Like, it's something about Alvarado, I'm sure. And when Alvarado came in, the ref had like a talk with him for like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Before he handed CP3 the ball, like, hey, you gotta calm down, man, calm down. What was that? I've never seen that before. It was like
it's probably
or something.
It's probably Chris Paul going to the official and just be like, listen, man, like, I don't know how you don't know this about Jose Alvarado, but this guy, if you look at him cross-eyed, he goes flying because he's a small guy. And that's what he did the whole game. Is he literally would just run to the lane and just jump into somebody and scream. Like they'd show a replay, and as he's getting ready to jump into like Mikal Bridges, he's like, ah! He's like starting to yell before he's even jumped. So it's like, my assumption is he was trying to inform the referee of how to do his job in a tactful manner. It's like, hey man, like, how could you be so fucking stupid to fall for this guy's shit every time? And I loved it at the end when Alvarado went down like he was JFK in Dallas 1963, and they didn't call it next to DeAndre Ayton. I was like, finally, a little bit of justice. You know, there's the one play where he got the foul, and he's on the ground and grabbing his face like his nose was broken, and then he realizes like, oh, I got the foul, I can get right up. I don't know how. It's a moot conversation, but I don't know how the NBA continues to allow that kind of stuff to happen. Like, that kind of shit should be fined, you know, but it isn't. Yeah. So whatever.
Yeah, no, but you have to admit, like, Alvarado in the second quarter kind of carried that team. He kind of turned things around. It was a closer game. But for a moment there, like, Alvarado with the offense he's really good, man. Moving the ball around, hitting the 3, of course, defensively, always being a pest. So he is the most, 20 probably
points
the most
off the
punchable
bench,
guy
man.
right now, for sure. A punchable face. But
the
he
nice
also
thing about him is when you punch him in the face, like, you know, you're going to get some blood.
You think so? Why?
Oh, I know so.
Bony or what?
Yeah, I feel like he's got a very breakable nose. It was like Manu Ginobili.
Yeah.
Manu Ginobili,
Yeah.
you know, if you socked him once, like, that nose would just bust. That's why I was called Manu Ginobili.
Yeah, no, I understand, man. I'm sure he's got punched a lot, and that's why he's here. But he does look like a little kid, man. He looks like a kid whenever he gets upset. It's very hard to watch. It's worse than watching Doncic because this guy is like another level of annoyance when he's with the refs.
He looks like your little brother. After you say something to him, he's like, Mom, Dad, you'll never guess what John said. No, you don't understand. And he's like crying. And like, I had those little brothers. So
I never had one.
Yeah, I know you didn't. Well, Brooklyn could be your little brother. But I think one of the most annoying things for me in this game is something that I'll talk about right after this small little commercial from DraftKings.
You looking to make some cold, hard cash? Visit the DraftKings Sportsbook app, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers can bet just $5 pre-game moneyline on any NBA team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. Check this out. Right now, everyone can earn up to 100% boost with DraftKings stepped-up same-game parlays. Who doesn't love a good same-game parlay? Download the app now, sign up with code TBPN, place a $5 pregame moneyline bet on any NBA team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. That's code TBPN, only on DraftKings Sportsbook. Win enough money, and who knows, Jamsters, maybe we can buy the franchise from Robert Sarver.
I think the thing that frustrates me the most is the fact that the Suns shot 22 of 44 from beyond the arc in this game. 50%, Matthew. And they lose by 11 points.
Yeah, it's nasty.
That's just frustrating because it's not every day you're going to go out there and get a 50% from beyond the arc, 22 made free throws. And to the Pelicans, 8. So mathematically, so we had 66 points from beyond the arc. They had 24. So we outscored them from beyond the arc by 42 points. And we lose the game.
Yeah,
they had 4 more shots than we did. And obviously, the free throws, they made 28, we made 9, so that's plus 19 for them. But it's just frustrating when these games happen.
Yeah, I thought when the threes were going down, especially when they were just like in the fourth, they couldn't miss. I was like, okay, they're gonna win this game, and then we're gonna look back on it and be like, dude, they couldn't miss. So what's gonna happen when those don't go down? We lose by 20, and we still lost by 10. It's because the Pelicans, they have that energy. They have the thing that the Suns don't have is the chemistry right now. Because I don't remember the Suns really complaining too much on the court to each other, really talking that much. I never seen Book looking so disinterested. Like the Pelicans are so young and they're ready for it, man. They know that people are now, I feel like this last week, saying they're actual contenders, and they are for sure. They're absolutely contenders. They even have Ingram in tonight. It's not like you're gonna say like Ingram comes back and then all of a sudden he like takes so much out of the Pelicans offense for being a black hole or anything. He's not that guy at all anymore. He's absolutely going to make that offense even way better than it is right now. So it's scary. It's scary because usually when guys are missing, you're like, oh, they came back. It sucks. Like, it's going to ruin their chemistry. It's like, no, dude. Ingram makes that team better. This team plays defense. They have size. They're athletic. They're unstoppable. Like, it seems like they're playing 7 guys against 5 out there.
It's what it feels like.
It's nasty. It just shows you how bad. And all of a sudden, it's like the Suns look so old out there. They look old. Like,
you're not wrong.
They're 20 years older from last year, the year before.
You're not wrong. And you couple that with the fact that they had 17 turnovers in this game, which led to 23 points for the New Orleans Pelicans. The Pelicans only had 11 turnovers. They were outbeat on the glass. The Pelicans had 23 second chance points to the Suns 9. Those are the killers. That's what reminded us of the first round last year was those second chance points. And here's the biggest one. And it's going to lead into our Zion conversation because the Zion conversation needs to be had. Points in the paint. What do you think the statistic was? Points in the paint, Matthew.
Oh, dude. So I looked at it earlier.
Okay.
I think it was like 60 to 28 or something like that.
It was 72 to 38.
Okay.
72. They nearly doubled us points in the paint. Yeah, not too bad. A big part of that, obviously, is Zion Williamson and the way that he just at will gets to the cylinder anytime he wants. He was 13 of 17 from the field, 35 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal. And I don't even know how many fouls he drew, but he was, 9 of 12 from the free throw line. I remember having this conversation because when's the last time we saw Zion? Was it the beginning of last year?
Yeah, it's been a while. I felt like they never even played each other. I felt like Zion and Ayton never went head to head. It's just
so
like
it was
forever.
Early last year, I remember it was like the second or third game of the season when the Suns started 1-4 last year. One of those games was against New Orleans. They blew us out of the arena, and Zion Williamson was one of the main reasons why. Zion Williamson is one of the main reasons why we lost tonight. Zion Williamson is one of the reasons why this team is unbelievably dangerous this year. Because when crunch time hits, he can get to the cylinder at will. And if he's not scoring points, he's getting to the free throw line. And you can't fucking stop it, dude. There's no stopping Zion. There just isn't. You can throw the doubles at him all you want. Guy's good, man. Guy's good.
Yeah, when EJ is out there, he's saying like, hey, make this guy a pass or something. What are you talking about? Like, if you double him, he's going to split it. If you go at him with one guy at the perimeter, he's going to split you in half. Just go right through you, man, right to the basket. And he did that over and over again. And the thing that he just glides through the air. He just makes sure that he keeps the ball high and away from the defender, and he glides through the air, nice and gentle off the glass. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful game he has. He's unstoppable. And I thought you were going to say, like, Zion's the reason why the Suns need to make a trade. Like, when you're looking at this team and you're like, who can beat this team right now? I mean, maybe out east you can say, of course, the Giannis-led Bucks or else the Tatum-led Celtics. They can probably beat them, maybe. But right now, I'm telling you, Pelicans. Did I pick them to be the number 1 seed, or did I pick? I picked Zion to win MVP. You
Yeah, I
think
think you did. Zion for MVP? I think
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting because Jason Tatum is playing out of his mind right now.
true. Yeah,
And East Coast bias will take care of that. And that team is disgusting. So, but he will start to shoot up a lot of those MVP boards, if you will. The team is now 6-0 without Brandon Ingram. So Zion, the way that he's been playing in the space that's been vacated by Brandon Ingram, is MVP level. And again, you can't stop the guy. You simply can't stop him. There's nothing you can do to his physicality. As you mentioned, his quickness, his celebrations could use a little work. Every time after a dunk, like he's got that look on his face like somebody farted.
I like that one though, dude.
I don't know.
I like it. I like when people fart. It's funny. So if you're gonna act like someone farted and take it seriously, that's even funnier.
I guess.
So
I didn't look at it through that lens, but I still think that if Jose Alvarado farted or something like that, I feel like it'd be like a burp. Be a little, it'd be like rubbing little burp. So I don't know, but I mean Zion, Kiko in the chat.
Yeah,
fart we clicked it at the same time.
We were both immature. Oh, fart dunk. Someone said fart.
Say fart, we laugh. But again, he's unstoppable, man. This team is deep. They're scary. We knew it last year when we played them in the playoffs. We're like, fuck, they don't have Zion, and this team, what we saw in the playoffs last year, was a building block for the Pelicans. I'm not surprised that they have the number 1 seed in the Western Conference right now. They've always scared me. And I think that they are the best team in the Western Conference. I really do. They're deep. The one thing they're missing is a quality starting point guard. They put Dyson Daniels, the rookie, in there tonight. But if they went and got like a Mike Conley, which they could completely do, because they got all the picks. That's the other side of this. Like, not only do they have this great team, but they got this smorgasbord of picks for Anthony Davis that they're just sitting on right now. So they're going to get better even next year. So they can go out, and if they want like a Mike Conley to bring him in and have him put up 20, 25 minutes a night and just help them from a facilitation standpoint, the team gets even sicker. This is why I was thinking about this today when I was driving home, getting ready. I'm like, okay, Suns are playing the Pelicans tonight. And I was thinking, I'm like, this is why last year sucked so bad. Because like that was our window, because we knew that the Pelicans were coming.
Yeah.
And the Pelicans are here, buddy, and they're fucking good.
It was like that was our window, but we looked at the Pelicans and we're like, well, we're not going to beat anybody else. We can't get past, because we thought it was going to be easy. And then we played them and we were like, whoa, this team is tough.
They're a coming.
And there's no way we can beat the Warriors. So it's weird how things change so quickly, man, because it might have been our window. So who knows? It's not looking good, dude, at all.
Well, and it brings us to the, hey, James Jones, what are you going to do conversation? Because I think who tweeted it out yesterday, I think it was Chris Haynes, says that 73% of the league is now tradable or something like that. And then on the 15th, the rest of the league becomes tradable. So the ability to finally make some transactions is becoming available. A lot of players are now opened up following summer free agency, team player signing with new teams, transactions occurring over the summer that put new players in new locations. So with Jay Crowder, because you got to remember, we have $10 million that's just sitting at home right now. And you got to get something to do that. You got to get something to fill that void. You got to get something that's going to assist this team and take some pressure off of other players. And Mario Lopez, I see in the chat, man, he wants.
Is this a joke? I think it's a joke, right?
He wants Colin Sexton so bad. And I'm so anti Colin Sexton. I don't want Colin Sexton. Do you want Colin Sexton, Matthew? Yes or no?
No.
End of that conversation. Fantastic. He also says Vando. And I honestly think that Jared Vanderbilt from the Utah Jazz would be a great fit, but I don't think that Utah's in sell mode, Matthew. I really don't. They're a team that has surprised probably themselves, but they're in the 6th seed. They're 15-12. They're winning games. They just beat the Warriors. They're winning games. Why would they be in sell mode right now?
Yeah,
And
I think they hold on to it. They hold on to the team. I don't think they do anything this year at all. I don't think you try to get anybody. I don't think you try to sell anybody. You just try to stick through it and get this momentum. Get the fan base behind you. They have those new nice colors, new uniforms. Everything's looking good in Utah. Just go through the season. It's a fun season for them. It's like our bubble.
And
it's like our 8-game bubble.
Assets.
Yeah. You remember the 8-game bubble? You're like, oh, this is fun, but we need someone else. We need somebody else. We got him. Now he's old, and now he's fucking Kardashian. So I don't even know what's going on anymore. I swear to God, if this team is just fucked up because of the Kardashians, why do we? It's even weird seeing like a son. Like when Kanye posted that, it's like, wait, Chris Paul. It's just weird to see a son in the news like that. You know what I mean?
Because we're the Suns. What about Julius Randle? That was one of the things somebody tweeted out. I think it was NBA at NBA Trade Rumors on Twitter. Tweeted out something about this happens every day. Like if you hang out on Twitter, if you're bored at work and you just pop on Twitter, somebody somewhere who has a little bit of validity to their Twitter account will be like, rumor has it that the Suns were talking to Kuzma today. Rumor has it that Julius Randle's the guy. Rumor has it. Rumor has it. Rumor has it. It's just like an Adele song. Julius Randle, let's have the conversation.
Yeah.
Yay or nay? That's a Slack notification.
Okay, so yeah, it was. I'm thinking though, okay, so Randle I do like. And it's funny because his contract's not that bad. 23, 25, 27 million a year. So what you're getting with him and his peak season he had 3 years ago with the Knicks when he's an all-star. So he's only 28 right now. That year he was like 24, like 10 rebounds, 6 assists. It was nasty. More points than that, I think. But it was a great year for him. And there was like a new, fresh beginning. So everyone's kind of like, I don't know about Randle. I don't know either because he gets frustrated when they're losing. But he's never been on a team where it's led by like a Devin Booker, Chris Paul. Yeah. Not tonight's Devin Booker. That was a weird Devin Booker. But Devin Booker and Chris Paul, they can teach
universe.
Him. Teach him the game. But he's a scorer. He can get you out of some trouble. He can be a big body down there for rebounds. When he has a winning team behind him, I think he can be the guy to help you get wins like tonight. I think he can go in there, be a big body. I think he could be a guy that can score. And God knows we need another scorer because honestly, we never really rely on Chris Paul this year at all from scoring. He's been closing out quarters for us, fourth quarters for us for forever, right? This year it's been different. He obviously started slowly, got injured. Now he comes through and he helps us, but doesn't finish the game off because he has no help. But when Booker is hot, then you win this game because you have a good Booker and a good Chris Paul. But now it's like if we have Chris Paul that's scoring his ass off and Booker can't help, we need an extra guy. We just need that extra scorer. Randle can be that guy, I think. And you don't have to give up much. It could be like a Jay Crowder, Shamet, and it can be it doesn't have to be that much. It could be a couple dudes, yeah. And then New York would be like, okay, because New York right now, I think are they 14 or something? I forget. They're like 500, so they might be below 500 by a little bit. I'll look it up, but
yeah, the Knicks are 13-13. So yeah, they're exactly.
I was close.
Yeah, you're 500. I mean, he's averaging 21.6, 8.8 rebounds, 6.6 defensive rebounds, 3.5 assists. He's shooting from beyond the arc 33%. You know, that year where he got the All-Star selection and the bag, if you will, that was the aberration. He was 41% from beyond the arc. So if you get Julius Randle, you're not looking for that. But what you're adding is a little bit of physicality. He's so physical that he knocked Cameron Johnson out of like 15 games last year. Remember? I mean, it was him. It was Julius Randle. I'm like, if I was to rank guys that I'd be interested in, he would be on the list. He would be on probably top 5 on my list because he addresses a need for the Phoenix Suns. The Suns need a power forward. As much as we appreciate what Torrey Craig has been doing, we need that on the bench because the bench is putrid right now, in my opinion. There's no consistency. When Josh Okogie's scoring 28 points, you're like, what the fuck's going on? But I mean, like tonight, we got outscored. I think it was like 56-29 from the bench. 56-29. You need to put Torrey Craig back on the bench. You need to bring somebody like a Julius Randle. My number one guy is Kyle Kuzma. That's just what it comes down to. But when I think of Kuzma, I think he fits into the mentality of the Phoenix Suns of finesse. And that's the issue with this team right now is we're too goddamn finesse heavy. We don't get to the rim. We don't put ourselves in a position to put the opposition in foul trouble. So, I mean, that's literally one of the primary reason why the Pelicans won tonight is because they just lived at the line, because they were the aggressors. They know how to get to the line. So there's like, you know what? We're just going to go and just hang out at the line. You know, like Devin Booker leads the Phoenix Suns with 6.4 free throw attempts per game. Number 2 on that list is Chris Paul, 3.1, and that was through 11 games. And then it's DeAndre Ayton with 2.7. Julius Randle gets to the line 5.8 times. Give me somebody who's going to get to the rim and at least put himself in a position in which he can generate some of those points. Because I've talked about in the past, like free throw shooting is you need to get to the line if you're in the playoffs. Like you just have to. And like even Kyle Kuzma, he's 3.7. You know, so he's not nearly as physical. And he's averaging 20.6 points. So you're getting the same point production, but you're getting it in kind of a different manner. And just so you know, Kuzma, he shoots 30% from beyond the arc. He's worse than Julius Randle. So I can understand the Randle debate, and I find myself leaning that way because I look at the identity of this Phoenix Suns team, and I don't like the identity. And I feel like Randle will add a physicality to this team that we haven't seen since fucking like Antonio McDyess was on the team. Now, don't get me wrong. Like Amari Stoudemire was definitely physical, so I'm saying him. But like, we need some fucking physicality.
Yeah, you need some nasty. He's a nasty guy. You need that.
Yes, we need some nasty.
It's when we've been blown out so much lately. Well, I forget what it's like to have like a close game in the end. I feel like he's a guy that can help in those. He can make it close in the end. He can make sure that we get good shots. I'm telling you, like he's a guy that can give you second chances. He's a decent passer. Like for a big man, he does it all, and he just needs to be on a winning team, dude. I don't know why. I've always loved him. But I don't know why he falls off so far. I think it's because of just his bad seasons he's had with New York. But if he plays along DeAndre, that'd be crazy. Because I know you wouldn't have to give up anybody big like Mikal, Cameron Johnson, no one like that. So if you got Randle, he would be at the 4. And Cameron Johnson comes back, he would be on the bench again, obviously. Because you couldn't get Randle and tell me, hey, no, you're going to be a bench player. That's not going to work. You're not going to send Mikal to the bench. Actually, I would love to see Cameron Johnson and Randle play next to Aiden.
But you could have those
awesome.
Lineups, right? Like you have some of those flexibility, some of that flexibility. So I don't know how much validity to this team is, or to this rumor is, but it's a thought. And Black Sunday in the chat, he's like, y'all think Randle will turn this team around? You know, and a bunch of laughing.
I don't think anything.
No, but we need to do something. You can't tell me that this team looks like they can go out and win the West or win a series in the playoffs right now.
No, I don't trust the team at all.
You can't. So you, as Suns fans, creatively, we have to start thinking of things because James Jones isn't. Gosh darn it, James Jones.
No, we're not going to get any. I don't see anything. We just need KD. We need him. If we want to win a championship now, we need KD. That's it. So.
Yeah,
not gonna happen though.
Those Nets, you know, they're up to 15 and 12 themselves.
Yeah, they're winning. Winning cures everything.
Winning cures everything. And it brings up weird conversations on the Suns Jam Session podcast because we're losing right now, and it's not pretty. And we're playing this team again come Sunday. So, Matthew, I know you were hanging out on the subreddit, so it'd be interesting to hear what the New Orleans Pelicans fans were thinking of this game, especially considering that this is a team that was eliminated by the Suns last offseason.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
Well, what up?
What's up, dude?
Guy?
You
What's
can see
up?
what I'm
What's
looking
up,
at too, man. I'm over here just looking up.
Sup, bro?
All right, so
let's get out of here.
So I don't know if this is actually a compliment or what this means, but Ayton out there looking like a street magician. What does that mean? Is that something bad? I put that out there because
he's juggling.
Is that what it is?
Perhaps.
So he couldn't keep the ball? Yeah, he sucked tonight, right, guys? I'm just joking.
Fucking Lissy always dogging Ayton every chance he can. Fucking Lissy.
Oh, this is crazy. Like, can't get a whistle. Hard to travel when you get pushed on that pump fake. That's when Alvarado was going at the ref when he traveled and they said he got pushed. And at that time, like, I mean, they led the free throw attempts the whole game. But what are they talking about? Not getting calls.
Oh, shut up.
Don't even go there. I don't even think about fouling anymore. That's how bad we are as Suns players, dude. Like, we don't get to the line at all, so I don't even think about it.
And it's a reminder, Suns fans, the Phoenix is 28th in the league in free throw attempts. I think they average 20 a night. So it's just like, again, why do we have the Randle conversation? Because we need somebody to get us to the fucking rim. and get us to the line.
Yeah.
And we don't have those guys. Devin Booker doesn't get calls. Chris Paul, now that he's back, isn't necessarily going to get a bunch of opportunities at the line because he's trying to avoid contact because he's old. And DeAndre Ayton plays away from contact, good, bad, or indifferent. If that guy had 5 free throw attempts a night, 5, because what they say Zion averages like 10. If he had 5, if DA had 5 free throw attempts a night, he would be averaging 22 points a game.
I fucking hate DA. What? I'm in disguise. Not really me though right now.
Who's this new guy? This new guy who replaced Lissy over here, who was hanging out in the Subred Stakeout. He's clearly anti-DA. You need to get this guy out of here. I want Lissy back.
Oh, dude. If Jose gets another 30-point game, I'm naming my nuts Jose and Alvarado. So there. That's pretty good, huh?
Matthew, do you have your nuts named?
I do not, man. I don't have any.
I have no comeback for that. That's well played.
So
nutless, non-Lissy over here.
Nutless, oh man. Zion moving grown men like toddlers. How do you not say that at every subreddit? Someone has to say that because that guy, it's insane. Like we've seen it for
fair.
It's not fair. It's not because he takes over a whole quarter and he goes on his own runs and just destroys the team.
Well, the other thing is
it's like Shaq.
It is. It's like, and he doesn't foul people offensively because he's so goddamn quick. If somebody's comes to set a charge, he does the spin move. Yeah. And like 9 times out of 10, the whistles that were called on him were valid. So it's like it's not even. It's not like Joel Embiid flops. Joel Embiid, he does a lot of he'll throw the shiver, the forearm shiver into people and do the push off and then fall down and make it look at this whole production. Zion's like, I'm going at that fucking rim, try to stop me. And then when you try to stop him, you have to foul him to do it. And he ends up at the line. So it's like, that's the challenge. It's just, he's too much. There's no flopping in him. He's just
no, and you can't really hate him. You just like Tatum, dude. You can't hate the guy. Like we usually come on here and talk about stars, like we fucking hate this guy, like Luka or something. Like but you can't hate this guy. He's just
nothing but respect.
No, refs favoring the Suns now. Someone said that when the free throw attempts were 13 and 19 in Pell's favor.
Oh,
I don't even know when that happened. Like I see this all the time. I'm like, wait, what are we watching?
Because every team always bitches about the officiating against them. But as Suns fans, I feel like it's a little bit more valid again, considering statistically they make the 28th most free throw attempts per game. And let's see, they give up for the opposition shoots let's pull it up, free throw attempts, stop fucking ads. 21st. So the opposition shoots 4 more free throw attempts per game than the Phoenix Suns. From a personal foul standpoint, the Suns commit 23 or 21.4 a game. The opposition 20.4. So we technically only get called for 1 more foul per game. It's every fan base feels like the refs are against them.
Yeah, always. It's going to be a thing. They just control the game. So whatever, dudes. Next one. Suns were always going to make a run. This is a really, really good team. We're playing.
That's when they're hitting all this.
So nice.
How sweet
We're not
of them.
Good. We're not good at all. We're terrible.
Don't lie to us. But this probably was talking about in that fourth quarter. The Phoenix Suns in the fourth quarter, just for those of you who didn't watch, were 9 of 12 from beyond the arc.
Never
9 of 12, and we lost by 11.
It's fucking disgusting, dude. CP3 this season averages 9 points per game, 25% from 3. Of course, today he shows up. Yeah, and otherwise
it's also his 12th game played this season. So
yeah, exactly.
Eat my nuts, Jose and Alvarado.
So Najee Marshall, pretty good player for them.
Everyone's good on their team, dude.
Every
rookie they get.
That's why I was like,
money.
They're always long. They always hustle. They always annoy the crap out of me.
And we didn't even see Herb Jones tonight.
No, yeah, he's the one that can. Oh my, this team's gonna win it all this year. This team is a contender. That was the last one. There it is.
Okay. Well, speaking of winning it all, if anybody's interested as right now, what their odds are on DraftKings relative to winning it all. Let's see. Futures. You can go to DraftKings and use promo code TBPN or whatever. Champion. The New Orleans Pelicans currently are the Suns are plus 1,000. So that means if you put $100, you win $1,000 on it. The New Orleans Pelicans, where are they on here? This is great radio/TV. They're plus 2,800, dude.
Wow.
They're plus 2,800 to win the
crazy.
championship.
Put some money down, man.
Dude, put some money down on that. And thank you, Missy, or Laugh You Missy, for hanging out on the subreddit.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
All right, folks. Time for the Jam Star.
Jam Star of the Game.
There's reminders, if you made it this far, hit that thumbs up button. Help us out. Let everyone know where the original post-game podcast on Planet Orange is, and that's right here on the Suns Jam Session podcast. Matthew, you go first.
I'm going to give it to Chris Paul. Kept us in the
edge.
game. For sure. The thing is, DA is going to win it. Sure.
Nope.
If DA
Agreed.
has this kind of game, fucking finish it. Give us that extra level there, buddy, and get us the win. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I hear, and I'm just listening. Okay, I'm just listening to you as you're just saying, and it's kind of across the board in the chat. You know, Brutus92 says Paul easy. Melissa Moore retorts, no, it's DA. Cody says DA. He's working for it. Kiko gives it to DA as well. So everyone's saying DA. I think it's CP3. To see what we saw from CP3 tonight, after his injury, and after just a pure blowout against the Boston Celtics, to know that he still has that in him is huge for this team. Are we going to see it a lot? Probably not. Are we going to see it all the time? Probably not. But if we can see it every now and then, and Devin Booker has just a normal Devin Booker game, good things, great things can happen for this team. There's a lot to address with this team as well. The bench is really interesting right now. But CP3, to see him come back, he gets my jam star in this one. I think he had a solid game. All right, up next for the Phoenix Suns, the New Orleans Pelicans again on Sunday afternoon.
Groundhog Day, huh?
Oh man, what time do they play on that? Like 1:30?
1:30. Yeah, 1:30. So right in the middle of football, we're gonna have football on one TV. We're gonna have basketball on the other, and I'm gonna stop watching it by the third quarter again, probably because we're gonna lose. So that's my prediction.
There you go.
I'm gonna stop watching it, stop taking notes at halftime like I usually do for these games.
And then you and I will come on the podcast and we'll keep saying tonight and say, fuck, I meant to say today. Because it'll still be 4:00 and it'll be light outside. Yeah, I know how. And the Suns will lose. You know, loses of 4 of their last 5 games, and I can see it being 5 of the last 6. Interesting. Kenneth Payne in the chat. Suns always suck at day games. The Suns right now are undefeated on Sundays, 4-0. So
are they
haven't.
Really?
Yeah, they have not lost a day Sunday game. Just a fun food for fact, or fact for food, or
what kind of food?
I don't know. I was thinking like ribs.
Okay.
Maybe do some barbecue spare ribs, no corn on them. I think it'd be delicious. So, again, things will get really interesting. I'm hoping things get interesting this time next week when we're sitting here on a Friday, hoping that maybe the Phoenix Suns, some way, shape, or form, have made some semblance of a transaction because they need to do something. We didn't talk about Landry Shamet, but he did not look good tonight.
He's gone. He's gone.
Done. He has
to be done. He is.
Yeah. He's not
literally. He's not playing any kind of game. He's passing up threes. He's not driving.
The one thing you bring him in here for.
Not doing anything.
He's not doing anything. And
all he does is he has good passes. He passes around perimeter pretty crisp. That's about it.
And he doesn't get assists because they don't shoot because they're like, you.
Yeah, he's done. This team needs. It sucks, man. It's just. They need to change. That's
we knew it coming into the season. This team did not have the depth that we felt was appropriate.
Yeah.
You lose Cameron Johnson, you lose Chris Paul for a duration. Now that depth is being tested a little bit. And now we're playing some really good teams. And guess what? You're seeing what good teams look like. Boston and the Pelicans in 3 consecutive games we're taking on the top team in the conference. And we might end up going 0-3 against them. And that just, it's a long season. There's peaks and valleys, but we're going through one of those valleys right now. And it sucks because it's Christmas time and I just want to be happy, Matthew.
Yeah, you know what though? Sports is just sports. It's not that big. Go home, love your family, do the good things for your family, dude. You'll feel better. You'll feel better about yourself. This is just a fucking game. We don't just think though. These guys play basketball and they get to go home and fuck Kardashians. We have to watch this shit and we don't get any Kardashians, dude. That's the short end of the stick, man.
There you go. Perspective brought to you by the Suns Jam Session podcast.
Just don't give a shit.
It's
more depressing.
On that note, that's it. We're done. Follow the show at Suns Jam on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Follow me at Darth Voida on Twitter. You can read my writing at brightsideofthesun.com. You can follow Matthew.
I'm Matthew Olsen.
And Matthew, I think you said it eloquently, so you can take us out.
Yeah, go home and love your Kardashians.
No, we don't get Kardashians. That's what's bullshit about this. Is